We are here at the Spartan Up Podcast Barn in Pittsfield, Vermont. While it's rarely raining, it is raining today. I've got Johnny on my right, I've got Sephra Law, and I've got Dr. Nye.
The science corner.
Is my wife here today? Or?
Marion is on the camera, and we're talking about Zhong, hopefully I pronounced his name right, Lou?
Zhong Lou.
From Dragon House MMA, downtown San Fran?
Yep.
Karate Kid.
I'll tell you, I've never seen so many weapons in my life. This guy had every form of beating tool available to...
Wait till you come to my attic.
you had to see the equipment. Been around forever, came over from China, and I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it. Out of it.
I get it.
Hiya.
All right, so let's tune in, watch him, and then maybe sign ourselves up for some MMA.
Love it.
We are here for Spartan Up Podcast in the Mission District of San Francisco with Zhong Lou.
Yep.
Zhong Lou's Dragon House MMA.
Dragon House MMA.
And been around 19 years, the oldest MMA gym in San Francisco, in the city.
Yeah.
And 20 years old?
19 years old. Yeah.
And you're a master. You're how old?
I'm 43.
43, and you've been fighting since?
About 40 years. I've been start training martial art when I was 3 years old, and then as time goes on, progressively, I learned different arts. Add on more stuff on my skill book, and
so go way back. Tell me, you started doing what style?
Well, I start off 3 years old. Start off with traditional kung fu, and the style of kung fu we call the white eyebrow, which means you mentioned earlier the Kill Bill movie. They're using our great grandmaster, the white eyebrow, as in the character of the Kill Bill movie.
So give me a couple of moves of that style.
So the style is practically focused on short range motion. Like example, you throw a punch on my face, right? That's a tempo shot.
That worked, by the way. That was good.
So
and scary.
Right. So let me break it down 1 or 2 more moves. Like you throw a strike on me, right? Bang. That's a throw jab, eye gouging.
Got it.
Basic stuff, and then groin shots.
All right, we've learned enough.
So that's what we focus on in the stand-up traditional combat.
So that's what you first learned.
Yeah.
Then migrate through. Tell me the next.
Migrate to the next thing I learned is I got picked up with the Chinese acrobat team back in the days, and I was 5 years old. So I got picked up. I was 4 years in the gymnastic acrobatic team back home in Guangdong province, in Foshan City. After 4 years training, I got out 9 years old. Continuously practiced my traditional kung fu, and then 12 years old, I started doing Chinese kickboxing. 14.
Which is exactly like it sounds.
Just call the Chinese kickboxing, they call shan shao. Shan shao is basically standard kickboxing, punching, kicking, elbow, knee, plus a lot of catch and kick, a lot of sweep, a lot of takedowns.
For competition.
For competition.
Yep.
So 14 years old, I started doing wrestling.
Now this is in San Francisco? Back home in China.
Yeah. 14 years old, I started doing Mongolian style wrestling.
Which is what? Explain.
Which means similar, a little bit like a combination of a Greco-Roman wrestling combined with judo. A lot of hip toss, a lot of heavy clinch, a lot of throwing.
Okay.
So that's wrestling. And then as time goes on, 16, I start doing a shan shao competition back home. And I moved over here when I was 21 years old.
And at this point, you're pretty high-level fighter.
Yeah, pretty decent. Been around the block doing a lot of competition. Been doing this for a long time.
So you're 21, you're doing it 15, 17 years, right? And you come alone? Your parents come with you?
Yes, I come alone.
You come alone. You're pretty confident that nobody's going to kick your ass.
Yeah, when I first opened the school, 1996, my first school was in the garage. And then I have a handful of students stick with me. And then it was all bare knuckle sparring, fighting, and...
But you didn't know anything about building a business.
Not at the point. I just building up a group of followers. And then 5-6 months in the garage, and a lot of my students pushed me like, hey, let's go rent a school and let's make it official, So November 1996, that's where officially I rented a little school.
Rented a location.
Rent a location, in a small location in Fillmore.
Were you concerned that you didn't have any experience?
I mean,
you got here. They didn't have bank accounts in China.
Exactly. As far as like a business experience, not too much.
Right.
As far as fighting experience, I have plenty of those. And then at the time, you know, before even UFC gets popular, before even mixed martial art, cage fighting, all that stuff, it's just pretty much like very traditional, like your style versus their style, like individual. Karate, Chinese Kung Fu, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, they're all separate. They don't all work together.
So at that time, they were all separate. What would people have said was the better style?
Well,
the more deadly style.
Really, you can't really say that because apple and orange, you can't really compare that. Because not everybody can do kickboxing. Not everybody can do jiu-jitsu. Maybe for many different reasons on your physical, genetics, you know, because every style take a toll on you in the different areas. Right. When you do a lot of striking, your hands, your shoulder, you do a lot of grapplings, your lower backs, your spinals, and you have sciatica, you have, you know, bulging disc. Every style, every sport, every different fight system, there is a different way to get a toll on your body. Right, so it's no such a thing as which styles are better, you know, and I think they are good. Kind of like which food is better for you, like depends what day you like.
Well, I hear a lot that it's very tough to beat an American wrestler.
That's definitely, but 90% of, I would say like a very high percentage of a wrestler, they're very common having knee surgeries and knee problems and lower back problems. You know, and then, you know, like I say, every different style, there's a way you benefit in one thing and then you take a toll on your body in another.
So, but is it just the movies? You see these 100-year-old Chinese masters that don't seem to have knee problems.
Well, I mean, like I said, they all do, but the style as time goes on when you practice, when you get older, more towards fighting. When you get older, you're more towards health. So you change the purpose of a training. Got it. You know, so you can't really train like I'm 40 something now, as I can't train like when I was 18, 19. I have to be modifying my training. I have to be taking a little easy, take a longer time to heal, take a longer time to warm up. I can't train like the guys 25-year-old competing regularly. Right. I just can't. Right. So you'd have to train smarter, you know.
For life.
Exactly.
Right, not for fighting.
Right, so because you know, at one point in time, you take to your peak, you know, you'll feel like, you know, invincible. But you know, as you get older, you know, you get injured while you're sleeping. You know, you woke up like, what's wrong with this? Like, what does come from? Like, when you're young, like you twist something, you torn something, like 2-3 days, you're back in order. Once you hit like 35 and up, it didn't happen like that.
Let's take a break. You and I, what I'll do is I have some fortune cookies. I'll throw them in the air. Maybe you could.
We're not making a movie here, right? We need some special effects for that one, though.
No, we'll take a break, and then I want to talk about applying some of the stuff you learned in martial arts to business.
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
I hope you're not sitting still while you listen. If you are, you better get a burpee break in.
We are back with Zhong Lou from Dragon House, and we're going to learn how martial arts, or discipline in general, can teach you how to get through life, and in your case, build a business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
give me some of the things you learned over all those years of training that have applied to. This has got to be one of the most successful MMA gyms around.
Absolutely. So, well, from a business point of view, you know, I think anybody who is a martial art instructor running a gym, it's contributing a lot of stuff to the society, because a lot of people, they come into this gym, I can see a few months of time goes by, they transform from this character become this character, you know, and every person walking to the door, I always tell them like the principle behind the martial art, the fighting, and not just fighting. Also, like, you know, the stuff you benefit from practicing here, and I want you to just contributing back to the society as well. And
so, give me an example of that transformation. Somebody comes in. What are you typically seeing? I mean, what we see at Spartan Race, we'll put 1 million people through them this year around the globe. And it seems like people need it because they live in cubicles now. They drive their car 3 hours a day in traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not really leading fulfilling lives. Are you seeing that when they come in?
Absolutely. Like, as you can see, this facility, and it's very different than the outside. So most people, they get out of the box of getting out of work and a stressful life, or, you know, whatever they do on a daily basis. When they walk in here, they become a whole nother personality. Right. And they let the stress out. You know, on top of that, it's a lot of a challenge to learning some new things every day. You know, regardless of learning a new move, learning a new principle of things, a philosophy, a theory, and then also learn how to work with the other people as well.
Right.
because especially like now modern days mixed martial art, everybody knows, MMA fighter, mixed martial art, like it's a very selfish sport. It's a one-man person sport, right? So you get into the octagon cage, it's just by yourself. Win or lose is by yourself. Right. That's how MMA is. But the preparation takes a team effort. You can't train by yourself to get into the octagon fight. It takes a whole team. Guys work on your takedown defense, guys work on your striking, coach will work on your pad work, your accuracy, your strategy. There's like hundreds of different components to put together for a fighter who perform at that 3-5 minute round by yourself. Right. So like I told people, like people coming here train, you not just train yourself, you're also helping another member as well. Because if they don't have a training partner, how are they going to get better? Right. So everyone is kind of tied in together. So that's why we call give or take.
So you're viewing your business as not, you have a why to your business. It's not just about money for you, it sounds like.
Absolutely not. I think if anyone who thinking about getting wealthy and rich and trying to open a martial arts school, there's absolutely a wrong industry being there, because every gym owner, or most of them, they have another job, daily basis, to keep the door open to pay the rent, and as you know, every gyms, we always have one of those members who just love to fight, dedicates but no money to pay. I mean, you just have to work with it. They help you to clean the floor, they help you to do something, and they keep your door open. Right. So this is definitely the most brutal sport to be in.
It's about having a passion for really helping people transform themselves.
Absolutely. So I see people coming here, many people walk into my door for many different purposes. Some people just want to weight loss, want to weight gain. Some people just work on some of the illness they have. Some people work on their mental problems. They need an outlet to get themselves out on a different time of day. So many people coming for different reasons. But they all come in here, become the same group.
Most people don't train. Most people. I mean, we're going to have 50% obesity rates in the U.S.
Right.
Is it similar in China when you were growing up, or was
No, I don't think they're at that point yet to have a lot of obesity over there, because some of the people, they still don't quite understand the nutritional formats and all that stuff yet. The not well educated people is here, So, and on top of that, genetically, majority Asian, the way they diet, it's hard to get them to this big. They don't eat like the stuff, have a high calorie, but they eat a lot of carbs. That's why the highest, diabetes in Asia. Right. The highest obese, it's America, because all the cheeseburger, all the fattening, the steroids and hormones into the cows and chickens were just, over there, practically organic everything, naturally. The chicken's only this small. You see the American chickens like this big. It's like, wow, what the hell happened here?
It's all the hormones.
Yes.
So it's been tough. 19 years you're running this business, like you said. Give me specifically something from martial arts that has helped you keep the doors open for 19 years?
Well, time to time, running a gym for 19 years, time to time, there's a moment where we're having a hard time to pay rent. I have to get some part-time job, doing construction, whatever other jobs I have to do to keep the door open. Definitely it's not easy to keep the door open, but it's like a roller coaster, and when the economy is very good and we don't receive a lot of benefit, when the economy is not doing good, we actually seize the fact to us, but I have so much passion on this. My generation passed on from my father, from my grandfather. They both Kung Fu masters. Like, I have to keep the door open. If I close the gym now, I think they'll pass away before.
So that's interesting. You have a legacy that and that's what keeps you going every day.
Absolutely. And it seems like every generation, every master, they have to have a child take over the business. And I have 28 cousins and I have 4 uncles. They're all running a martial arts school back home in China. I'm the only one in the U.S. Running a very successful in the martial art capital city in America, in San Francisco. So I have to keep the door open. And I have a lot of passion for it. I have many members training at my gym since they're 10 years old. Now they're 25. Now they're competing in the professional circuit, MMA, and never been defeated. I have quite a bit of member like that. So they're looking at me as like I'm their father. So, you have
a responsibility.
Yes. And it's such a great reward when you're watching someone comes in here and transformation from, this personality, this character, and then 6 months later becomes something completely different. And it's something money can't buy. Yeah. I'm actually happy to see someone like that.
Yeah, there's nothing better you could do on earth, right?
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Hey, show us some of this, some of the equipment.
So we have a lot of, you see a lot of wood swords, wood staff, those like practice objects, and we do have some of the, like the big, this is called a guando, it's a big sword.
Were these actual fighting swords years ago?
Yes, back in the day, those are actual weapons. Like this one is called the Mongolian, and it's like the basically the highest level in the priest in the temple. Back in the day, the top level monk, that's what they carried.
And they would fight with that?
They would fight with that. And simulating the way, how it looks, this one here, this crumbly thing, you can put on people's face or head back in the days like used as a hammer. All this empty space on the top, when somebody have a sword or knife, they poke in you use that trap them.
Oh, see, I see. Right,
so that's why you spinning this thing and you practice. Yeah. Right, that's a spear, that's like the oldest weapon.
Yeah.
That's a long pole, it's about 8 foot tall pole. It's quite heavy. So
for anyone just listening, you should tune into the video so that you can see some of these swords.
Right.
You got about 30, 40 weapons here.
Yeah, something like that. So like this pole right here, it's a really heavy duty pole. Practice your strong, we call it kung fu grip, So you practice the pole, have many different sizes, different dimension. It creates once you're holding to the end and snap those, this is a pretty heavy pole.
What about these bags?
Those are sandbags. They have a combination of a gravel and sand inside the bag, and then each individual bag will have 7, 8 of them here, I guess. Each bag, they have a different combo, so have a different level. When you're punching, you condition your knuckles, and you put on the palm, and then sometimes you do raking on the sandbags, so conditioning your palm. So backhands, chopping, elbows, all that stuff is basically help you to conditioning. So sometimes
how long would somebody typically work on that?
Typically like 10-15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
All the students, they come in here, they will do 10-15 minutes. That's their warm up, just to get the entire forearms and fists while conditioning. So like when you do sandbag, we're really conditioning, tough up your knuckles, your hands. And when you do the heavy bag, it helps you to develop the force.
Got it.
So a combination combined. That's why you see some of the Western boxers, they hit really hard, but every training session, as soon as they start workout, they wrap their hand, they taped up, they put the gloves on. But in any cases where they do get into a street fight, it's like a Mike Tyson, right? They throw a punching on somebody's, but they're never conditioning their bare hand. They hit so hard, so much force, but their hand is not wrapped and no 12-ounce gloves surround it, so they hit on a punch in the face or something. They guarantee break your hand. Yeah. You break the guy's face, you also break your hand.
Right.
Now, those are heavy bag, those are penny bags, and then this one is the penny bag. It's the last one. This is all metal. This is the hardest bag in the whole gym. So you pretty much work your way up from the sandbag all the way up to the penny bag. If you can hammer this daily basis for like a year or so, I think
your hands are ready to go.
Your hands.
Show us the wooden dummy and how it's used.
So the wood dummy.
That's Bruce Lee generation, right?
Yes, that's like actually before Bruce Lee's generation, but Bruce Lee is the one who brought that out of the cave.
Yeah.
So the wood dummy is basically self-constructed, so you can practice all the application you learn.
But this is the original wooden dummy.
That's the original.
Yeah.
And then there's different, like for Western people, they look at wood dummy, they go, oh, this wood dummy is like, there are actually many different wood dummies in China. Right. And then some people, they have the angles different. One arm's higher, one arm's lower. Some of the dummies are a little shorter. Yeah. And some of the wood dummies, they
show us how to use it. How would you use it?
So I can do a couple moves, like this. Pretend it's an arm. That's pretend you're smacking it. Yeah. That's the hand. So I can do like a few moves from here, right? So down, maybe a little step back. Yeah. Good. So I'm gonna do like a one section.
Yeah.
So up.
Nice.
That's one section of it.
So if you're doing that, how long each day? If you were back in China, how much time would you spend on a wood dummy each day?
It didn't really as much time as you can spend on.
Is it like 15 minutes? Is it an hour? Is it
probably like half hour.
Half hour?
Yeah.
Of just continuous movement?
Right, continuous movement. You learn the sequence first. You start off slow.
Right.
And then you work your way up.
Right.
But again, you have to do a lot of conditioning from there before you transfer here. Because when you do all those punches, those are solid wood.
Right.
So if your hand is not made for that yet, you're gonna have to do this.
Right.
You can't really strike it. All this basic, all this,
right.
Those are all solid wood contact, and this is made out of mahogany.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
That's it.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
What'd you think of that?
I think you could take him.
Yeah, tough
Colonel
guy.
Nye, what'd you think of that?
I mean, this is a tough guy. If you ever wanted to know, was Kung Fu better than karate, better than wrestling or whatever, all you had to do was ask him, right? He had like a black
done it all.
belt in everything.
I'm
right?
a black belt in
In permaculture.
Joe, that's funny.
In your closet? I mean, you go with your stilettos, or I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah, do you like my stilettos?
Puma belt.
This is going nowhere.
This was another one of these immigrant stories. A guy coming and building up his
repertoire.
I mean, just built. I wanted to say brand, but he doesn't really have a brand. I don't think.
I'd say his gym is certainly a brand in San Francisco.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was talking about how hard it is in that business to succeed. That everyone opens a gym and they have to go and work another job, and it's more of a passion.
Yeah.
Where he actually has carved out, it's probably the biggest MMA gym I think in the city, and it is a full-time business for him. But the sacrifices he's had to make. But he said he's trained guys who are going on to fight professionally, and so I think he has had a pretty high level of success. But you also look at it, and a lot of guys who are martial arts instructors, they maybe started in their teens and now they're in their early 20s. They open a gym. Yeah. Here's a guy who started at 3? Yeah. And then he had another one at 5, and by 11 he had like 5 or 6 different disciplines.
And he had the acrobat background.
Yeah, went and did the Chinese circus, and
which is pretty high level. It is like Cirque du Soleil, right? Mm-hmm. But the Chinese acrobats are world famous and have been around a little bit longer than Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, but so here's a guy who really truly has dedicated his whole life to martial arts. And again, martial arts, not just combat. He's not looking to beat people up. It's about how can I really truly be a master of all this.
Hopefully people watch him in the video, because he did not look like a thin Bruce Lee type. Mm-hmm. He was very bulky.
Yeah.
Big, strong guy.
Yeah, to be acrobatic.
But he looked pretty fast.
Oh, he was fast.
Knocked your hand out of it.
No. He was fast. He was fast.
Also cool when he was working with the wooden dummy, and how many times he hit that. And I like what he was describing about why it's important to train bare-fisted against the harder and harder bags. He said that a professional boxer, if they ever got in a street fight, they'd break their hands because they're always fighting with.
But isn't that a great analogy for everything we talk about? Yeah. Right, like being protective as a parent, or not getting yourself out in very adverse situations in business. And I used to like training for long distance runs with sand in my shoes and a little bit of water, because it trains your feet to be rugged.
Yeah, so don't always work for perfect conditions, but actually learn how to fight in adversity.
It's like the plant that grows in the perfect environment. It can't handle the storm.
Oh, very good, Joe. Or like the teasel. Wait, I'm sorry. What you should say something else.
No, I shouldn't, because I know nothing about a teasel.
You don't know anything about a teasel?
You're just teaseling us right now.
I am just teasing you guys. Well, no, not really, because sometimes they're a good pioneer species in nutrient deficient soil, and they're these like really thorny ones that will come up that, like, if two animals are overgrazing a field, then the thistles will come up to try to keep them away from overgrazing it. And it's like nature does have all the energy, so it protects itself. When you're overrunning yourself, doing too much, protection, then you goes back into succession, then it heals, and then you're ready to eat it again. So I don't know if that has to do with
I don't even know how that ties in at all.
MMA is great.
The dandelions then grow, right?
Dandelions are great
through
for
the
you.
cracks in the brick.
The mixed martial arts of a field.
I
like it.
I like it.
Well, but actually, I'm gonna bail you out here. What you're trying to say, is much like you learn many different disciplines, we actually need many different things in nature to balance it out, and we can't just go one way.
Thanks, Johnny.
Like it.
That's why he's a doctor.
All right, so if you're not into martial arts, too bad. You should get into it.
Yeah.
Or you can try wrestling.
Wrestling is a martial art.
It's a martial art.
I'd say it is.
Gardening's a martial art.
Gardening, the way Sephra does it, gardening is a martial
Woman taught
art.
me the Tai Chi of shoveling.
Didn't karate start from gardening?
I'm going to say yes.
Everything starts with gardening.
No, but I mean, it did, right? Karate is the open hand, right?
Mm-hmm. Really?
The empty hand.
It is the empty hand.
And they would have to put their garden tools down because they couldn't know weapons, so they started learning with the gardening tools.
See?
I love how
think-
you put.
Thanks, Colonel.
Joe, I think we should just turn this over to the two of them, and you guys carry on. But in the meantime, we're going to let the viewers go.
So if you want
we're
a
going to go
garden,
back into the internet.
open hand.
We're going to go back into the internet. Thanks for coming. Stay tuned. You will not believe what's coming next week.
Not believe it. But if you want to see it,
SpartanUpPodcast.com.
For show notes, video, and audio of this episode, visit SpartanUpPodcast.com/082 or follow us on Twitter at SpartanUpPod. The Spartan Up Podcast is brought to you by Spartan.
To find a race near you, visit Spartan.com.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You nearly hurt me before when you were doing some of those moves.
Oh, my bad.